Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us this Monday, August 26th, 2024, for our business meeting of the Board of School Directors. I will now call this meeting to order. We're going to begin with saluting to the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening, Mr. Kaufman. Could you do roll call, please?
Sure. Ms. Hoff.
Present.
Mr. Wright. Here. Ms. Richardson.
Present.
Ms. Hopkins.
Here.
Mr. Tong. Present. Mr. Callahan. Here. Ms. Cook Henry.
Present.
And Ms. Ivory.
Present.
And Ms. Boykins is unable to join us tonight. That concludes roll.
Thank you, Mr. Kaufman. We do not have any announcements or comments from our board president. As vice president, I would just like to say welcome back to all of our staff members for this school year. And we're looking forward to a wonderful school year. And thank you all for your dedication to our students. Next up, the superintendent's report, Dr. Bicos.
Good evening, everyone. I do have an update this evening. I'm going to get us started. We have school opening. And we also have some special thanks and district and community announcements. So as it relates to school opening, we have registrations that have been completed. We have over 330 or about 330 registrations that we've completed. That means those are students who have been enrolled already for the 24-25 school year. We also have about 335 enrollment packets that are still in the process of being finalized. So that means that there are documents that may be outstanding or that still need to be provided to the registration office. As it relates to our hiring efforts, we have filled about 51 new hire positions, and you can see how those positions are allocated by role. I will share with you that we still have some instructional assistant and special education positions that need to be filled, but we do have a plan in place to ensure that all classrooms are covered on day one when students arrive. I do want to share with you that we've had the opportunity to provide our official kickoff and welcome back on August the 15th through to our leadership. And we have site-based teacher leaders, academic interventionists, coaches, instructional facilitators, and principals. And we did that earlier this month. We also had our Leadership Development Summit, which ran through the 21st of August. And each school shared with leadership their opening of school presentations, either on August 12th, 22nd, and or the 23rd. And this is our way of ensuring that schools are ready, looking at things from academics to operations as it relates to school opening. Today, we did have an opportunity to conduct 2 convocations, and we welcome back all of our staff. I will say to you that the energy in the room was great. I would say to you in year 4, this was probably, in my mind, I think one of the best openings that we've had with staff. That's just the way I felt. And it was a feeling, if you will, in the room. These are some pictures from our time today. And I really want to highlight the picture over to the right. This is a gentleman who was introduced to our school district, or introduced to me about a year ago by Representative Speaker of the House, Joanna McClinton. And she said, Doc, this is a gentleman that I think you may want to consider for hiring. So I talked with him and I said, this is our process. Well, today this gentleman walks up to me while I'm at Ardmore Elementary and said, hey, Doc, do you remember talking to me? And I said, yeah, I think I do. So he told me his name and he said, yeah, Representative McClinton told me to give you a call. And I was like, wow. He said, yes, I'm a math teacher at Ardmore Elementary School. So this is the stories that I like to share because it just shows how things go full circle. And better than that, He's a graduate of Penwood High School.
I was gonna ask you.
So, it's just interesting how things
Not too
happen.
long ago.
Right, yep. And so, we also had the opportunity to give each staff member the book that you see here, Cultivating a Classroom of Calm. This is one of the books that I read this summer. Chapters 2 and 5, if you can't read the whole book, 2 and 4, I'm sorry, you really want to pay attention to what's in those chapters. And I share this with board members because the book really helps people to understand how we respond to children who may have experienced trauma, how we're able to better support our students when they show up, even those that have not experienced trauma. But it's just a good book and it's filled with strategies, really basic strategies to use to support our students. And so just wanted to share that with the board. And then I also, our communications office did do a little slideshow that I just want to show board members from the actual kickoff today. Not sure why I don't have sound. I know that you all could not have been there, but I did want to share this. I thought it was a great kickoff and just the vibes and the feeling in the room. Some other information about school opening August 26th through the 29th, which is currently happening. We will continue with.
Excuse me, Dr. B Coates, we can't hear you anymore.
We will continue with teacher professional development. Can you hear me now?
No. I think when they flip to the video.
Joy, you still can't hear me? Can someone else say something just?
Hey, Miss Joy, can you hear me? Nope. I hear you now. All right, great.
All right, school opening information, August 26th through the 29th. We will continue with teacher professional development. As most of our community knows, the first day of school is September 4th. For students in grades 1 through 12, kindergarten orientation is the 5th and 6th of September, and the first day of school for kindergarten students is September the 9th. I do want to just advise everyone that, as you know, when we are implementing transportation routing, sometimes there are some challenges. And so I just ask that we provide grace and we be patient as we continue to work out any challenges that we may have on the first few days of school. It is not our intent for children to be outside waiting long periods of time, but things do happen. So I just want to share that up front, and we will continue to work with families to make sure those items get resolved. We have some of the best elected officials supporting our schools in this district. I want to thank Representative Gina Carey for providing a pop-up backpacks giveaway that occurred a while ago. I believe it was on August the 7th at Penwood High School. It's my understanding that they gave out over 200 book bags. And our state representative, Joanna McClinton, Speaker of the House, is co-sponsoring our back to school kickoff, which is this coming Wednesday. So I strongly encourage anyone who can come out to just support that event. It will be held at Park Lane from 5:30 to 7. We continue to get donations from Donors Choose. They really support various schools. You can see the long listing there. This list for the month of August totals over $3,800 in contributions that we are receiving to support teachers. And this is, again, the back to school kickoff, and I, again, encourage everyone who can to please come out and support this event. Madam Vice President, that concludes my presentation for this evening.
Thank you, Dr. Beekos, for sharing your first day back with the staff. And thank you for addressing their concerns from previous years. So we appreciate it. Gonna move on to approval of the agenda. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any against? Can I have an approval of the minutes for the business meeting July 22nd, 2024?
Second.
Any comments or corrections? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any against? Hearing none. Can I have approval of the committee meeting of the whole August 19th, 2024?
Second.
Are there any comments or corrections? All those in favor? Aye. Hearing, any against? Hearing none. We're gonna go on to. We do not have any special awards for this evening. Do we have any public comments on agenda items? Do we have anyone in the chat?
I don't see any hands, Ms.
Anyone in our audience? None? Okay. All right, we're gonna continue to our communications. Mr. Kaufman?
There are none this month.
Oh, I'm sorry. My apologies. We're gonna move on to our committee reports, beginning with community relations. Ms. Monique Boykins, Chair. I'll be reading that for her this evening. A1, school opening information, and I'll read this since we are approaching this time. If you just take a look, it just talks about the administration, faculty, and staff of the William Penn School District welcome our families to the 2024-2025 school year. School will open for students in grades 1 through 12 on Wednesday, September 4th, 2024. September 4th through 6th will be half days. Again, September 4th through the 6th will be half days. Kindergarten orientation will be held on September 5th and 6th, and their first day of school will be on Monday, September 9th. Information package will be mailed to families in August. The school hours for students: Penwood High School, 7:30 a.m. to 2:24 p.m. Penwood Ninth Grade Academy, 7:30 a.m. to 2:24 p.m. Penwood Middle School, 8 a.m. to 2:44 p.m. And elementary schools, 8:40 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. The upcoming orientations: 10th grade orientation at Penwood High School, Green Avenue campus, will be held Thursday, August 27th from 6 to 7 p.m. Our back to school kickoff: the William Penn School District families are invited to attend the back to school kickoff on Wednesday, August 28th, as Dr. Beekos just mentioned. Please, if you can come out, please do. Please note back to school nights for the following schools: Tuesday, September 10th at 5 to 7:30 at Penwood Middle School. Wednesday, September 11th, 5:30 to 7:30, Penwood Ninth Grade Academy. Thursday, September 12th, Penwood High School. Tuesday, September 17th, we have 5 to 6:30 at Alden, 5:30 to 7 at Colwyn, 5:30 to 7:30 Evans Elementary. Tuesday, September 18th, we also have 3 at East Lansdowne. Wednesday, from 5 to 7 at East Lansdowne, 5:30 to 7 at Walnut Elementary School, 5:30 to 7 at Bell Avenue Elementary School. Thursday, September 19th, 5:30 to 7:30, Park Lane Elementary School. And Thursday, September 26th, 5:30 to 7:30 at Ardmore Avenue. Okay, the information is listed on our website for back to school. A2, Children's Health Insurance Program. A3, Sun Bucks Benefits. A4, Voting Information. And that concludes the committee Community Relations Report. Are there any questions from the board? Comments? Okay, hearing none. We're going to continue to our Education Committee agenda read by Ms. Valerie Cook Henry, Chair.
Good evening, everyone. B1, contract with Dr. Sonia Barbosa Ruiz for the 2024-2025 school year. And the motion is to approve a one-year contract agreement between the William Penn School District and Dr. Sonia Barbosa Ruiz to provide oral examinations and dental referral services as needed to students in grades kindergarten through grade 8 for an amount not to exceed $10,500. B2, agreement with US Medical Staffing. And the recommendation is to approve the 2024-2025 agreement between the William Penn School District and the Medical Staffing Company for August 26, 2024 through June 30th, 2025 to provide registered nurses, licensed practical nurses, and paraprofessional contractors on an as-needed basis. This agreement is subject to the district solicitor's review and approval of the form and content. B3, agreement with Delta T Group, and it is to approve the 2024-2025 agreement between the William Penn School District and the Delta T Group, August 25th, 2024 through June 30th, 2025 to provide registered nurses, licensed practical nurses, and paraprofessional contractors on an as-needed basis. This agreement is subject to the district solicitor's review and approval of form and content. B4, and the contract is with Dr. Robert F. Sling for the 2024-2025 school year, and to approve one-year contract between the William Penn School District and Dr. Robert F. Singh to provide various physician services as described above for students in grades K through 12, pending the submission of required background and clearances. B5, with General Healthcare Resources Agreement, and the motion is to approve the contract between the William Penn School District and General Healthcare Resource through the end of the 2024-2025 school year. B6, Lakeside Agreement, and the motion is to approve the 2024-2025 contract agreement between Lakeside and the William Penn School District for an amount not to exceed $346,080. The agreement is subject to the district solicitor's review and approval of form and content. B7, Care Solace Mental Health Services. And the motion is to approve a renewed contract agreement with Care Solace for an amount not to exceed $20,000 from August 25th, 2024 through June 30th, 2025. B8, Expulsion Waiver Agreements. And the motion is to approve the terms of the expulsion waiver agreements negotiated between the William Penn School District and the parents and the guardians of the reference student. B9, Thomas Thompson, Reuters Clear. And the motion here is to approve the 2024-2025 contract agreement between Thompson Reuters Clear and the William Penn School District. The agreement is subject to the district solicitor's review and approval of form and content. The agreement with the Thompson Reuters Clear is for an amount not to exceed $8,000 from August 25th, 2024 through June 18, 2025. B10, release and settlement agreement. And the motion is to approve the release and settlement agreement negotiated between the William Penn School District and the parents of the student as indicated. Madam Vice Chair, that concludes my.
Thank you, Ms. Cook Henry. Do you have a motion?
Second.
Second.
Are there any questions or comments from board members? Hearing none, all those in favor? Any against? Hearing none. We're gonna continue on to our Personnel Committee agenda read by myself. All right, beginning with C1, there are no retirements. C2, resignations. C3, appointments, and I would like to say I attended the orientation. And it was great to see so many people for orientation. There had to be over 50 people, I believe, that started. Some that were familiar to the district, some that were not, but it was just great to see their energy and their readiness to come to the school district and work for our students. C4, changes in assignment. C3, leaves of absence. C6, there are no mentors. C7, there are none. C8, there are no tenure. C9, there are none. C10, miscellaneous personnel items. And I'll just read this. It's the motion to approve the miscellaneous personnel items as indicated, the WPEA. I say that correctly? 1-year extension that will end on August 31st, 2025. And B, to dismiss employee 6317 consistent with 24 PS section 1122 and applicable state and federal law. C11, modifications to previously approved items. And there are no additions to the agenda. And that concludes my report. Do you have any?
Second.
Do you have a motion? Second?
Second.
Okay, are there any comments or questions? Yes, Ms. Hall, and then Mr. Wright.
Yeah, I know we do these resignations, appointments and stuff, but if we hand out a paper agenda, people should have access to that, also, if they get a paper agenda, so a simple cut and paste, 5 copies.
So you're asking, oh, so for the attachments that we have, you would like to see the actual attachment?
I think that that's a responsibility of ours if we're gonna. hand it to the agendas. Just a couple copies. I mean, I know.
To have them
exists,
available,
so-
just to have them available,
Yeah,
if anyone needs to
absolutely.
reference it again.
Oh, I'm talking for the citizens. We have them. We don't have them.
Yeah, we do, we have the copy.
Right, right.
So a copy for
notes.
in person. Thank you,
Thank
Dr.
you.
Nicos. All right, Mr. Wright?
Thank you. One of my comments in reference to Bell Avenue Elementary School. I've been living in Gainesville for about 32 years. And I don't recall Bell Avenue having their grass seeded. I have seen some improvement that always was trash coming down on the fence. I did see some improvement there, but the grass is so uneven. So I'd like to know what Aramark would they be feeding the grass? That should be done at least twice a year.
We will respond to you, Mr. Wright.
Say again?
I said, we'll respond to you in writing,
Okay, appreciate
Yep.
that.
and we'll also share what the schedule of maintenance is on grass.
Thank you.
Uh-huh.
And, my next, my next question is, I know when we were going through the process in reference to counseling, did we hire a counselor to do regular counselor duties and also work with our program, dealing with articulation program at Delaware County Community College?
Yes, we continue to work with them.
Okay. Because I know that's a big overload. We thought that would be an extra counselor.
We do not have an extra counselor. But we do continue our efforts to work with them as it relates to counseling and outreach matriculating. I do know last year we did increase the number of students for various programs at the school, and that level of communication has continued with Delaware County Community College, and we'll continue to do that to ensure that our students are supported.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Are there any? Thank you, Mr. Wright.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions or comments? Yes, Ms. Llewellyn.
Dr. Baker's report, he said that, we had hired 36 teachers and 5 IAs, and I think that's progress, but where do we stand on vacancy for teachers and IAs?
We probably have about maybe 6 or 7 teacher vacancies. And again, most of those are in the area of special education. And we can provide an updated list to board members, because that changes daily.
What about the IAs?
Especially during this time of year. I'm sorry,
What about the IAs?
the IAs, it's much more. It's about 16 to 17 IAs, and we are working with the company that you guys just signed off on, or will be signing off on, to fill those vacancies. Our special ed department is working with principals in schools right now, trying to fill those.
Thank you.
Yep, you're welcome.
Thank you, Ms. Llewellyn. Are there any other comments or questions from school board directors? Okay. Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none. We're going to continue with our property committee agenda read by our chair, Mr. Jan Tong.
Thank you, Madam Chair. There are no agenda items for the. Thank you. Can I just share something on this?
Sure, please. I do know that yesterday, I just want to be very transparent. We did send a communication to the Evans as well as East Lansdowne staff. There were, based upon our visit on Sunday, and I visited for the last 2 Sundays, based upon the visit, I did not feel as though that I wanted to have teachers come into East Lansdowne, so me and Darnell Deans did make some modifications. We housed that staff here in GR1. Cleaning is at a place now where I think it's appropriate for teachers to come into the building, and my viewpoint is if I wouldn't want to be in there, why would I want a teacher to be in there? And that's the way me and Darnell looked at it. And so progress has been made with both schools, and I just wanted to give the board an update. And I am hopeful that we will be able to, well, I know that we'll be able to be in both schools for the remainder of this week, and we will be ready to support students. There are some things that still need to be done. And we will continue to work with the contractors to make sure that we're able to support not only our students, but our staff as well.
Thank you for your. Question? Will the teachers be given any grace time since they weren't able to get into the building today? Will they be given any additional time if they miss?
We can't find additional time
Okay.
for them.
But will the grace
However,
afforded?
grace would be
Okay.
afforded if that is something that is needed. Keep in mind that today, for most schools, today was a day where it was a planned agenda.
Right.
For most of the day, but we still understand we're going to work with schools and teachers to make sure that, they have what they need to be ready for students, because I know based upon my conversation with a friend of mine in WPEA, I know that teachers, Andrea. Teachers want to make sure that teachers want to make sure that they can get through their runs. And so we try to make sure that we have conversations with the union, so we are mindful of what some requests may be.
Great, thank you.
You're welcome.
So East Lansdowne will be in the building tomorrow.
Yes.
Got it.
Yeah, and I'm not sure, some people may have gone today after they left here in GR1, and they were able to do that. We just know that we needed to do some more clearing.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
no
you.
problem.
Okay, we're gonna continue with our Budget and Finance Committee, read by our Chair, Ms. Jennifer Hall.
Thank you, Ms. Ivory. Subject 1E is treasurer's report. E2 is list of bills. E3 is an updated spending plan. I would encourage everyone to go online and take a look at that. Editorial note, we did have to take out a tran because the legislative body was so late with their budget. While it seems like July 15th is not a lot, it is actually 17 days past when we have to do our job. And that delays tax bills getting out, which delays us having money needlessly. I mean, that 15 days costs the taxpayers, that is not appropriate. And I will be impressing upon that to our legislators, not our legislators' faults, the ones we voted for. I want to be very clear on that, but they are our voice and we need a budget on time. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Paul.
Second.
Oh,
Are there any comments or questions from our board? Hearing none. All those in favor? Any opposed? Hearing none, we'll continue. Next, policy committee agenda. I see we have none, but by our chair, Ms. Joanna Hopkins, would you like to share anything?
No, ma'am. We had a summer hiatus and I thank everyone. I hope they all enjoyed their time off and be ready and prepared to start this week, next week rather.
Thank you, Ms. Hopkins. Okay, we're going to continue to our solicitor's report.
Madam President, just to report that there was an executive session Monday, the 19th, to discuss bargaining and personnel issues.
Thank you, Mr. Khan. Okay, now, next, we're going to go to our reports, beginning with the Delaware County Community College. Mr. Wright, we have a
I'm looking at Dr. Phil, you wouldn't kill it. It would be nice.
Right.
So, just have a brief report. One is, our new 2026, we will have a new campus. It should be finished by then. And it will be available for 2,000 students. And when, Mr. Harry or Dr. Harry comes back, I'm gonna try to get more information and find out how much is, the finances of this and what programs we're gonna have. And hopefully, I'm gonna make a recommendation that years ago, Delaware County had classes in the school. Hopefully, we can do that. And just over the weekend, Enon Baptist Church had a great big program. I'm gonna try to either meet with the pastor and talk about how he was able to pull it together. He brought the whole staff and the president of the board of directors to his church to talk and sign everybody up for dual enrollment articulation program and other programs they may have. I thought that was great. Get the churches involved. I'll say that at the end. So that will conclude my report, and hopefully I'll be able to bring back more details.
Thank you, Mr. Wright.
Can I make a note? I don't believe in my 16-year history that we have ever had BCCs in the classes in our schools. It's sort of a conflict with the teachers, but I just wanted to bring that up. I don't recall that at all.
We did.
Well, maybe it was before my time. Because you overlapped me that.
Yes, and we did, and then it just discontinued, and then they moved it to Upper Darby. Darby not, all like for some of that to come back here.
Well, hopefully it's something that we could possibly look into if it's an option.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Wright. We're going to continue to our Delaware County Intermediate Unit. That would be me. Right now, I currently do not have a report as I've just assumed this task. So hopefully our next meeting, I will have a report to provide. All right, next, our Delaware County Legislative Council. Ms. Jennifer Hall.
Thank you, Ms. Ivory. Legislative Council meets again, September 11th. We're planning, this Thursday. It's spectacular. Our legislators aren't, really back in session till end of September. Because it's an election year, it will not be a fast moving train at all. Hopefully we get some more cyber charter work done. And we talk about passing a budget on time, but I would see this as a very weak fall for legislation.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Hall. All right, continuing on with, we have no old business. We do not have any new business posted. Do we have any public comments on non-agenda items? Please come up to the mic. Press the button,
Yes.
it should be green.
Yep.
Perfect.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Andrea Fink, President of William Penn Education Association. I just wanted to take the time to thank you for passing our one-year extension this evening. It really honors the work that my members do. This past spring, my members, we spent 4 weeks advocating to our local legislators for fair funding for the William Penn School District. My members come from over 5 counties in Pennsylvania, so we have a far reach. Just to let our legislators know the impact on what fair funding has on the work that we do as it relates to the community and the students that we serve. I know that the state funding isn't promised past this year, and we'll continue to work with the board and the district to continue that advocacy. I'm going to take the time to say thank you so much, and we're off to a wonderful school year. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Fink. Thank you. Yes, please come up to the mic. Yes, please. It should be green.
You're gonna be okay, Ms. Appleby.
If you
You're gonna
could-
be okay.
Just say your name. Thank you, Ms. Fink.
I always like to start positive. Not passing a budget on time, nice and new. Been in there for a very long time. And I haven't had occasion to attend meetings because I think you guys do a great job. Particularly legislative and fighting, I do. It's a volunteer job, I understand. And it's difficult, and I think the lack of people here goes for the big job. You know, you get those days when it's. So.
We remember those days.
Yeah. But I'm here tonight because of the tax bills. And I've been trying really hard to not ask dispersions on anyone. But when that bill came and I saw a bill coming, first of all, I almost threw it out because I thought somebody tried to buy my house. I called Luella and asked her and everything. From there, I called Mr. Ryan to find out what was going on and what was happening. In fairness, I then I called Luella back and said what was happening, and she suggested that I email Mr. Kaufman with my concerns. So, long story short, this is completely inappropriate. First of all, we are not a business. And I don't mean to denigrate anybody, but the responses from Mr. Kaufman, who I understand is the business manager, who's doing a good job, obviously Mr. Wood, with Joe Otto. Or not Joe Otto, I'm sorry, Jeff Cobb, Joe Otto, rest his soul. You're not a business. And Mr. Kaufman, your responses to me showed a complete lack of understanding of lockbox, of the role of the tax collector, what a certification means. You said there were problems with the lockbox and people went into tax claims. I don't know how that would have happened. But I was the tax collector for 14 years. I was here when the decision was made to self-collect, as you all know. And the role of the tax collector still became, we were still responsible. A tax collector is elected by members of her community. They are given a warrant to collect those taxes. They are bonded. Sure, the solicitor has heard this. Mr. Kaufman's responses to me, at one point, he said that the school district, that the borough, the business office did not collect taxes. It was as though the lockbox was the one making all the errors. Definition of a lockbox goes way, way back. Mr. Kaufman seems to think that the lockbox was a result of fraud, which some of you remember what happened with that. It's very sad, and I still am very sad about it. But I asked Mr. Kaufman what his experience was. It seems perhaps it was as an auditor in the business area. We are not a business. I open that and I see we're proud to have this. There is no information for anyone to contact the tax collector. The role of the lockbox goes way back. Probably, well, tax collectors used to collect on their own. Lockboxes were established as a protection for the tax collector and the community they serve. The money went to the bank. For instance, Alden, Colwyn, and Darby use Sharon Bank for municipalities. Deposits are made that a taxpayer can go in, make that deposit, goes into the lockbox, which is then deposited to the municipalities. The tax collector is then responsible for what you might call bookkeeping. There are certifications, mortgage companies ask for those things. They have to be able to go into the system and get their 3-year, if you're trying to buy a house, you're gonna pay for a certification and stuff to do. The companies pay the tax collector. I know I'm going a little long and I'm really sorry. But Mr. Kaufman, I don't mean to attack you personally, but I think you just don't have any understanding of the lockbox. And then at one point, I think it might have been 2007, 2008 in that area, went to self-collecting, and Joe and Jeff and Brian worked with the tax collectors. It was difficult, but we were able to explain to our community that the lockbox went to Philadelphia, and this is how it was processed. I had taxpayers who just didn't trust it, so they would send it to me, and I would put it in the envelope and send it to the lockbox. All the accounting procedurally was done in-house by the business office. That was the job. Mr. Kaufman, you said the business office is not responsible for the taxes. He seems to think that it's the lockbox that's making the profits. But then I opened that bill and I'm sorry, I'm not really good at all this jargon, and we'll reach out and we're happy to announce. And then when I asked, well, the tax collectors can make a copy. There wasn't even a letter. Mr. Kaufman told me that we could play online last year. That wasn't true. We're never able to pay tax with taxes online. We're not able to pay them now. In fact, I pulled out last year's bill to make sure I was. There is no way. We have a lot of senior citizens. We have a lot of people who are not in debt at QR codes. This bill from this Berkheimer in Bangor, which I know that is East Stroudsburg, a student teaches there. The bill is like, it's like an IPO for a business. I need you to bring it back in-house. This is unacceptable. And quite frankly, I'm not sure it's legal. Because he also mentioned that the mortgage companies don't want the bills. They send a tape, they send requests with a list, gets matched up, and that's how it's taken care of. Tax collector was able to answer questions. Oh, well, somebody needs a receipt for their rent rebate. The tax collector can go in and print them that. How? My one question was, were we printing our own bills in-house recently? Because I know the borough had to. I'm sorry, the county was no longer printing bills. Anybody know?
Berkheimer's sister company has printed.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
Berkheimer's sister company has printed our bills for the last couple of years. I don't know before.
Berkheimer printed our bills?
Their sister company under HAB Inc. Sister company, Berk One, printed our bills the last
So
3 years at
county-
least.
Because municipalities are now printing their own bills. The county used to print all the bills. I'm sure a lot, some of you in here will not know that. The bills are all printed by the county. In this instance here, when they went to self-collecting, we tax collectors were given copies of the bills. There were like there's mortgage codes, there's all that sort of thing that are on there. That bill didn't look any different from what the county. And at this point in time, I feel this is really denigrating the work that Jeff Cuff did. I don't know how this could even come down. It's wrong. It's absolutely wrong. Who's doing it? Okay, here's a question. I sent it to Burke Connor, I work. And if I want to receive points, they have my email or file to send me a receipt. Isn't that nice? So how do they do the accounting for the mortgage companies? How do the mortgage companies pay?
The check,
Pardon me?
with a check.
I'm not asking you with a check, I'm asking you how they process payment.
I don't know the internal processes of.
Well, that's your job. That's your job as business manager. Been here a long time, Mr. Kaufman. And, I don't mean to be rude, but it doesn't seem you have a lot of school accounting, which is completely different. Any business manager, there's not another, I don't think there's another district in the county that uses an outside agency like this, because there is no response, there is no respect. We're not clients. We're people who care, we're people who pay our taxes because we care about our children. And that was a wrong-headed decision, and I think the board was poorly advised. I imagine you were an auditor from what you told me with some of the jargon I didn't understand. Am I correct?
Yes.
Did you work with Jeff?
Can I?
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I'm
We
really
have
upset by this. Sorry,
We
but
understand we do understand your concerns and we are listening to your concerns. We appreciate it, but we do have to stop because we're over the 3-minute.
I'm sorry.
We do have to, and we understand, but if we could just follow up. And make sure we have your name and information, so that way we can have it, further, continue the discussion, okay? So we do hear you. We appreciate you coming out, because you may not be the only resident. I'm sure that feels that way.
I was wondering, because I had people that know me, I'm sorry. I had people that know me, call and say, hey, what's happening?
So we will follow up and try and see, we can't, at this point, we are in, in contract with them for this year, so, but we can, look
Yeah,
into it for future.
I understand that you have to be.
Yes, we appreciate you.
And I just want to give a shout out to the marching band.
Thank
Jack
you.
knows where my heart is.
Yeah. Great.
Okay.
Okay. Are there any other public comments on non-agenda items?
I see two hands, Ms. Faber and then Ms. Shinda.
All right, we'll begin with Ms. Faber. Good evening.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for the construction information. I can't like the comment, unfortunately, but I had another comment since I think it was the superintendent had brought it up about the busing. So true, it's a new school year. We have to give some grace. But I was heavily involved last year with several of the busing issues and trying to get our students to school and into instruction on time. I encourage any parent that is on the call to make sure if your child is taking the bus, that they have the bus depot number. I guess this would refer to your middle school and high school students that are capable of calling and communicating any late buses. That is the best way to get these cogs moving and make sure that everybody knows. Darnell, you've been a wonderful help. So I would encourage, again, parents to email him, keep him in the loop as well. And hopefully that we can get the school district started or the school year started on a better footing than last year, and it doesn't take months and months of me trying to get a bus on time. And then finally, I did speak to the Lansdowne Police Chief very briefly, again, about some other busing issues that came across. I'm talking about the stop at Ardmore Avenue. So hopefully, I think a lot of people in the meeting are aware of that. Different conflicts with the students and the neighbors. And hopefully, I'm unfortunately not at that bus stop this year at all. That somebody else is keeping an eye out for our precious children and making sure they're on the right side of the street, that the buses are coming down the right side of the street. All this has to work correctly. Otherwise, we are setting out kids up to fail, which I really hate to see. So that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Faber.
Ms. Faber, I'll make sure I'm out there, at least at the beginning of the school year to make sure the buses on the right side of the street. So,
Thank you so much. You're appreciated.
Thank you. We have a hand by Ms. Machenda. Machenda?
How y'all doing? Good evening, everyone.
Hey.
I need to know, when is it appropriate for staff to share information across buildings about children who have no need to know this information? And what are y'all going to do to prevent it from happening in the future?
Yes, Ms. Mshenda, it is my understanding that your email has been received and you will get a response in reference to that particular item.
I thank you, Dr. B. Coates. I appreciate it.
You are more than welcome, Ms. Mshenda.
All right, y'all have a good evening.
Do the same. Thank you, Ms. Machenda.
All right.
Yes, that's all.
All right. Okay, so we're going to continue to our announcements of future meetings. Oh, I'm sorry. Mr. Wright, he asked for the floor.
Thank you. What I would like to say for Dr. Beacons, I know I'm not, I'm gonna continue to work with Good Trouble, but the Good Trouble gonna work is for the betterment of all of us. And, even with my sickness, I'm going to continue to work in that behalf. And also, unfortunately, now I'm getting sick and my wife is still sick. So hopefully I need everybody to give us a prayer. My sickness is that I have a low heart rate. And anybody know me, I've always been an avid runner, even Jennifer to keep up with me when I could run in Delaware County. I ran 100 meters and
Senior Olympics, awesome.
Right.
Awesome.
And I thought I would never have a problem with my heart, but that shows you how the Lord and things move in a different way. That I'm going like this, I'm going to continue to work through, but I want everybody to understand, continue to pray for my wife and myself. My heart rate was down to 40. The average heart average heartbeat for any human being is 75. My heart rate is getting a little bit better, but it's still going up and down. And I'm going to continue to be here because when I first met with Dr. B, because I told I had another agenda that I wanted to pursue when I leave the school board, and I know God is going to keep me here so I can pursue that. My idol, that I'm going to keep moving and doing Good Trouble, and that I need your prayers, and also pray for my family. So I just want you to know, because I did sign up to meet with another cardiologist last week, looking for a second opinion because I see a gap, and I can see that the medical system is scary. It's very scary. So I should be able to have an appointment sooner, but I got to wait over a month for the second opinion. So if I don't come here, it's not I'm being neglecting, it's that I have to make the appointments, or maybe something's going on with me that I have no control at this point. But I wanted to once again thank everybody for the support and their prayers.
Thank you, Mr. Wright.
I don't want anybody to get sad. It's right, still going to be here.
Stick to your shirt, Good Trouble.
Don't waver.
Thank you, Mr. Wright. Okay, so our future meetings, we have a property committee meeting on Zoom, Tuesday, September 3rd at 6:30. We have a policy committee meeting via Zoom on Thursday, September 5th, 6:30. Our next committee meeting of the whole will be held at 6:30 on Monday, September 16th in the admin building as well as on Zoom. Our next business meeting of the Board of School Directors will be held at 6:30 on Monday, September 23rd at Green Avenue as well as Zoom. Our Personnel Committee meeting will be held on Thursday, September 26th at 6:30 via Zoom. And that concludes our meeting. At this time, I will adjourn this meeting.
Thank you.
Meeting adjourned. Thank you.